I got to see Cena for the last time from the front row, so let's talk about Saturday night's main event next. Saturday night's main event was definitely a glorified house show, but it was still so much fun, and indeed I will play some videos that I took myself as I break down everything from the evening and give a final grade on the night. So let's get to the matches and start off the top with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker against CM Punk and Sami Zayn. And before we even got to that match, I have to say the intro was just too long, especially when you're in the arena, because you are waiting for a long time for anything to happen. But at least you could see me when the announce team was on camera, so I hope you were looking out for that beautiful SZ shirt. And indeed, that match started out hot as Braun Breaker nearly immediately did his flying clothesline over the table to take out Sami Zayn, which is unfortunate for me, but what are you gonna do? Nonetheless, I have to say the WWE team is actually very efficient and they quickly put that table back together. All in all, it just took a couple of minutes, but it was a little unfortunate that I was right in the way of them making that fix, so I did miss a little bit of the action. Nonetheless, then also seeing Big Bronson Reed return and send CM Punk through the barricade was truly amazing. And unfortunately, it was so amazing, I pretty much missed the entire finish. So, oh well, what were you gonna do? But that match was a lot of fun. For a match with no real stakes, that is how you put on a glorified house show match. Next, we had Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green for the women's US title, and this one was just added on SmackDown, so I didn't get to make a prediction for it. Of course, I would have picked Zelina to win, and I am amazed how much people really do love Chelsea. And unfortunately for her, there were a couple of really ugly moves that cost Chelsea a bloody nose, but in the end it did go pretty much how we expected, with Zelina retaining, because it's really time to move on from that for Chelsea. Next, we had the one we were all waiting for, which was John Cena against R-Truth, and it was very short, but it was basically perfect, right? I mean, R-Truth is a national treasure, coming out to Cena's music, doing all of the Cena things. It was amazing. I don't know how else to put it. It basically accomplished everything you wanted to see to give Cena some doubt in his mind about hitting R-Truth with that championship belt. But of course, once they handed it off, he did hit that low blow and the AA to win. But yeah, there's not much more than I can say there. It was a glorified house show kind of match, but it was perfect. Next, we had that Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest steel cage match, and this one was hard hitting. You could feel the moves in this match a lot more than you could in the other ones. And even though I was right behind Jesse the Body Ventura at the announce table, I could not hear him from a mere few feet away. So from what I could obtain from X, it sounds like he did not like that standard cage escape ending, and I certainly have to agree, as I have always thought that the only escape should be over the top of the cage. And I guess a good guy like Damian Priest is trying to be would just walk out of the cage to get the win, but man, he is not going to win over any more fans by winning like that. And lastly, we had the main event with main event Jey Uso taking on Logan Paul for that World Heavyweight Championship. And it does make some sense that having a YouTuber, even our YouTube Lord and Savior, winning the World Heavyweight Championship would indeed ruin wrestling. I have to admit, I didn't really care for Cena's involvement here. But at the same time, it was great to see Cody Rhodes make his big triumphant return. And of course, we needed him to get back so we wouldn't just be repeating what Roman Reigns did last year with being absent all the way until SummerSlam. And with that Rhodes legacy in Tampa, this was certainly a great time to do it. And I have to say, with the way the crowd reacted, we are certainly in no danger of a heel turn for Cody anytime soon. And I hate to say it, but Jey remains amazing when you are in the building, but really boring when you're at home. And yes, of course, that means I was yeeting right along with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. And my report is that Michael Cole is not as terrible as he used to be at yeeting, though he is still obviously not perfect. And McAfee, of course, he was great at it, getting on top of the table, but he was sweating like crazy after that, so it's amazing that he was able to get through an entire match with Gunther when he looked pretty tired just from yeeting for a few minutes. But nonetheless, we did get Jey retaining, which is of course what we would expect and what you would see at a glorified house show. So my overall thoughts, first off, shout out to Lillian Garcia. My oh my, she's still got it with an amazing national anthem rendition. I have to say, I was underwhelmed by her returning the first time around, but actually seeing her in person, this was great. I wish she was still doing the SmackDown announcing full time. Oh well, nonetheless, both of our axioms remain true here as at Saturday night's main event, champions retain, and it's a glorified house show. And I guess that is the issue I have here because this was basically a PLE presentation and, more importantly, PLE prices. But it was a shorter show, clocking in at just 2 hours from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, and we got all of the schmaz, but none of the consequences that you would see from a PLE. But I guess that's the problem because I do love the house shows. They are often way more fun than the televised events, especially Raw or SmackDown, because you get no commercials at a house show and you simply know what you're going to get, which is a lot of fun. You get those crazy run-ins, you get something wild like CM Punk coming out in a bath towel, or Rhea Ripley shaking that ample booty of hers for no real reason other than just having some fun. But we did not get those extra moments of fun here, and we also got plenty of commercials. And it really slowed things down, especially at the end, with Jey taking forever to do all of his yeeting. And then, of course, we got a match after 2 whole commercial breaks. And here we didn't even get the traditional post-show dark match that you often see after Raw or SmackDown, and the only dark match was American Made versus the LWO's Wild and Del Toro, which is not really what anyone's too excited about before the show. So this one really needed it. Since we only had one women's match, I really would have liked to see something like Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the title that, of course, we would have had Io winning for one reason or another. But what are you gonna do? In the end, this one was all about Cena, and of course, I had to see him one last time. And even though that idiot Doc loves him more than anyone, he was never one of my favorites. But still, I have to say I am pretty excited to have gotten to see him one more time. So of course, I had to walk out with his official Last Time Is Now tour t-shirt that was made specifically for Tampa. And even more importantly, I have to say I'm pretty excited to have gotten this beauty right here from sitting in the first row. And they even had all of the legends sitting one side or the other from us, so I did get to briefly shake hands and speak to Tatanka at the end because my buddy Jason goes to the same church as him every week, so he knows him a little bit, so that was fun to at least get to say hi there. So in conclusion, this was a very fun night and it was very exciting to be there in person. There was just a lot of energy going on at the Yuengling Center since I can only assume that the Amalie Arena would not have been available for this entire Tampa takeover. But I have to admit, I was left just wanting a little bit more here as there was simply too much downtime due to commercials and not getting that dark match after the show. But no, we will not be giving this a C for Cena. Our final grade officially will be a B+. But I guess I won't be seeing Cena anymore, but you should see if I got all 4 of the matches that were booked before SmackDown correct right on over here. And until next time, I am the SportsZu, and this is still a podcast that's going to need a new name.